Namaskaram everyone. As Kameshwari, the ruler of the force of desire, Kama Rupini, the one who is the very personification of desire, and Kama Dayini, the one who fulfills all desires, Goddess Kamakshi is worshipped in many, many different ways.
Mukha Panchashati is a magnum opus addressing Kanchi Kamakshi, the Empress of the Universe. This is written by a phenomenal bhakta of hers, Mukha Shankara, as he was known. This present slokam that we are choosing today to explore with you in this video is the 100th slokam, part of the 3rd chapter of the Mukha Panchashati.
We will first learn to chant the shloka without any mispronunciations, explore its poetic elements with word-by-word meanings, all while relishing beautiful narrations of the stories and symbolisms of the goddess. Let us now chant the shloka together. Karnat Kanchi Kanchi Puramani Vipanchi Laya Jhari Shira Kampa Kampa Vasatiranu Kampa Jalanidhi Ghana Shyama Shyama Kathina Kucha Sima Manasi Me Mrugakshi Kamakshi Haranatana Sakshi Viharatam Mrugakshi Kamakshi Haranatana Sakshi Viharatam. The shloka starts with the letter Ka, the first of the consonants. Kama, Kanchi, Kampanadi and Kamakshi, all of them start with Ka. Tantra text state, Kakarat Jayate Sarvam Kamam Kaivalyamevacha, which means, be it the most basic desire, Kama, or the highest unity with all of existence, Kaivalya, all of it starts with the letter Ka. It also happens to be the first sound of the extremely potent Panchadashi and Shodashi mantras of Sri Vidya. Sankhya Darshana ascribes the letter Ka with Mula Prakriti or primordial nature of all the three worlds.
Kamakshi, in the temple of Kanchipuram, in the Kamakoti Pitham, is present with the Ikshuchapam, the sugarcane bow, the Panchatanmatras, the 5 flower arrows, the Pasha and the Ankusha. In her 4 hands, she holds these. This divine form of hers is what most of us see. But when a bhakta engages with Bhagavati or with Bhagavan, they see this physical form and they also see the layers beneath that. When we take this particular slokam of the Mukha Panchashati, we see so much of Devi Tattvam inside of it. So what inspired and what bloomed within him for him to come together and bring us so much of Devi Tattvam in just one slokam? Let's explore.
The poetic meter or the chandas of this shloka is in itself quite magical. With 17 syllables repeating in the same pattern in each line, this chandas, called Shikharini, literally means that which is an offspring of a mountain, Shikhara. This is indeed extremely apt to describe the goddess, she herself being Parvati, the daughter of the mountain king Parvata. Coming to the meaning of the shloka, the key phrase to understand it occurs at the end of the last line. It is Viharatam. May she wander about. Where may she wander about? Manasi me, in my mind. May who wander about in my mind? The rest of the words of the shloka answer that with the goddess's name Kamakshi, along with all her other descriptions. This layer-wise arrangement of all the words of the shloka helps us understand this flow of thought clearly.
When we look at these words, each pregnant with meaning, we can of course on one hand identify that this is a phenomenal piece of poetry. But this is not just poetry, there is so much of Devi Tattvam hidden inside this. The context of this stotram, the entire Mukha Panchashati itself is very beautiful. Mukha, prior to actually composing this, was a bhakta of Kamakshi but mute by birth. However, his muteness did not stop him from adoring his Ishtadevata Kamakshi. One fine day, when he entered the temple of Kamakshi, he saw seated on his left was a man chanting Veda mantras. Mukha sat next to him and both of them were looking at Kamakshi. In some time, Mukha watched in absolute amazement as from inside the sanctum sanctorum from the Garbhagudi, Kamakshi herself emerged. And as she emerged, as she walked, she first walked towards the Veda Pandit and she opened her mouth and took out a small part of the tambulam of betel leaves that she was chewing on. At this point, she signaled to the Veda Pandit asking if he would eat this. The Veda Pandita said no, because he followed the rule of not eating food that was soiled by another. Kamakshi, with her eyes, let's remember that everything about Kamakshi is done through her eyes. So she just signaled towards Mukha, asking him with her eyes if he would like to consume this tambulam. An overjoyed Mukha opened his mouth in absolute amazement as Kamakshi placed that tambulam inside him. Through the power of that tambulam, through the power of Kamakshi's prasadam, Mukha then on that very spot, in that very moment, composed 500 verses addressing Kamakshi. This is what became known as the Mukha Panchashati. The Mukha Panchashati is split into 5 different parts, each containing 100 verses. These are the Padaravinda Shatakam, the Stuti Shatakam, the Kataksha Shatakam, the Mandasmita Shatakam, and the Arya Shatakam. The present slokam is the 100th one, as we mentioned, and this is found in the Stuti Shatakam.
The word Stuti means praise. The first word of the shloka praises the goddess as Kvanat Kanchi. She is the one with a tinkling Kvanat waistband Kanchi. It is said that the sound from this waistband of hers are what set forth all of creation. It is also symbolically said that she has 51 bells on her waistband, the sounds of which form the very basis of the Sanskrit alphabet. Talking about the Sanskrit alphabet, in the previous video of this playlist, we looked at how the word Akshi, or an I, represents that which penetrates, supports and reaches out. As Kama Akshi, this manifestation of Shakti is the one who supports Kama and through her eyes makes it penetrate across all of existence. Kama or desire is the very basis for creation to manifest itself, the driving force behind every thought and action. While some life negative philosophies vilify desire and blame it as being the cause of all suffering, it is in fact desire or Kama which is the force behind creation to have happened in the first place.
Kamakshi is that primordial desire which takes and engages with the supreme most unmanifest self Parabrahma and causes that Parabrahma to engage and to create the universe. She is that Ichha Shakti of Parabrahma that emerges and stirs a desire within him to create. That desire is known as Kama, and she is the ruling goddess of that very basic fundamental desire. So she is Kameshwari, and she draws him into engaging with samsara, making him Kameshwara. This is where our exploration begins from.
The next word to understand in this shloka is Kanchi Pura Mani Vipanchi Layajhari Shirah Kampa. Yes, this is in fact one single compound word. She is the one whose head sways, Shirah Kampa, with the flow of the tunes Layajhari from the bejeweled Veena Mani Vipanchi, which is verily the city of Kanchipuram. The next word of the shloka is Kampa Vasatihi. She is the one who has her abode, Vasatihi, by the banks of the river Kampa.
The word Kampa is so appropriate to use here because Kanchipuram, in addition to being residence to the Kamakoti Peetham where Kamakshi resides, is also home to the beautiful place where the Leela of Ekamreshwara happens. Under the mango tree, Kamakshi was doing tapas to Shankara, and at this point she created a Prithvi Lingam out of the mud in front of her and she was doing Archana to this. Shankara in Kailasha, as a Leela, sends down Ganga to this particular spot, and Ganga arrived in great haste. When Kamakshi saw Ganga coming, she was scared that Ganga would come and dissolve the lingam which Kamakshi was worshipping. So she said Kampa, Kampa, meaning I am shaking in fright, and henceforth the river was known as Kampa. So this makes it a very beautiful usage. It finds a very beautiful usage in the slokam here, where this Leela can also be thought of when this word is being said. Additionally, Mukha Shankara then plays with that word kampa and takes it into a different word altogether called anukampa,
where she is described as Anukampa Jalanidhihi. She is an ocean, Jalanidhihi, of compassion, Anukampa. The word Ghanashyama describes her further as the one who is of a dark complexion, Shyama, as that of a rain cloud, Ghana. She is described as Shyama once again, where the word also conveys the meaning of a young maiden who is yet to bear children, conveying her intense desire and longing for union with Shiva.
Shyama is also a very beautiful reference to another goddess. Kamakshi, when she emerged from the Chidagni Kunda to fight Bhandasura, at that point Kamakshi or Lalita created from her right side Shyamala Devi and from her left side Varahi Devi. Kamakshi, as we said, represents Ichha Shakti and Shyamala Devi represents Jnana Shakti. That Jnana Shakti of Shyamala has so many different forms, so many different names, and Shyamala herself holds a parrot. If you pay attention to Kanchi Kamakshi, she also has a parrot. That is a symbol of Shyamala Devi being within her. That is why this word Shyama is also appropriate here. Shyamala Devi has her own temple in the temple of Madurai as well.
This youthful description of hers continues to the next word as Kathina Kuchasima. She is the one who has the perimeter, Sima, of her bosom, Kucha, firm and stiff, Kathina. The next word, Mrugakshi, describes her as the one with eyes, Akshi, as beautiful, wide and vibrant as that of a deer, Mruga. Finally, the last word that describes her in this shloka is Hara Natana Sakshi. She is the one who is a witness, Sakshi, to the cosmic play, Natana, of Lord Shiva as the destroyer of all the worlds, Hara. As Kameshwari, the ruler of the force of desire, she is not just that desire that causes union, resulting in bringing forth creation, but also that desire that brings about dissolution and destruction, which is necessary for the next cycle to start fresh.
The beauty of certain slokams is how they combine so many different aspects of Devata Tattvam and they put it together. Here, in this stotram, in this particular slokam, we can see references. The beginning itself reminds us of a similar sounding slokam in the Saundarya Lahari, which starts with Kwanat Kanchi Dama. That itself is one reference. And here, the other aspect, while most of the slokam describes Kamakshi, towards the very end of the slokam, we understand who is she really. And that is given to us in those beautiful words that help us understand that Kamakshi is not a goddess separate from Shiva. She and Shiva are eternally together. And this is the concept of Samayacharam. Here, we have to understand the beauty of their own equation, that at the time of cosmic dissolution, when Shankara dances, the only sole audience, the only sole witness to his dance is her. So she is called Haranatana Sakshi. He dances for her pleasure, she watches his dance for his pleasure. So in that beautiful moment when there is absolutely none else to see, Haranatana Sakshi takes us also to another kshetram where he is the primordial dancer Nataraja and she is just watching him in absolute awe as Shiva Kamasundari.
We hope that you enjoyed watching this video and found it useful. Make sure that you click on the like button, subscribe to the channel to not miss any of our future updates, and share this video with those whom you think might benefit from this. You may also support our work further by becoming patrons or YouTube members through these links in the description below, gaining access to exclusive downloadable resources, live streaming sessions, and more.
See you in the next video where we delve into another aspect of the Divine Mother as Meenakshi.
Thank you so much for your time and attention. See you in the next video.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.